I'm clicking some buttons over here. Oh, get ready, get ready, get ready. Here we go. If you ain't ready, you need to get ready because the Louisiana country boy and the little diva are bringing you some Monday. Speak on it. Uh-oh. The diva having she having technical
Oh,
issues over there, boy. she
I don't know what's going on with my
had
Facebook.
some technical issues. Just forget it. Just
I don't
forget
know why
it.
Facebook is starting to bother, get on my nerves. They starting to aggravate me.
Hey, it's just a book. It is tapping on everybody, and that's okay.
It is
Yeah,
starting to bother everybody. Every other day they come on here and tell me I need to let them know who I am.
I told you.
I'm the same
Look,
person I was 30 minutes ago.
look, I told you my Louisiana brother Larry, he in Facebook jail, and he don't even know what he did. But that's all right. My brother Larry, if you are listening, I know that you in Facebook jail. Just know
Oh,
this.
he's still out?
Still there. He's still there. They ain't let him out yet. They have moved him to the holding tank. Well, look, my brother Larry, I just want to say this. I have secured Park Place, and I secured three of the railroads. And I'm trying to get the other one so I can get you up out of there. I'm gonna tell up the Monopoly board just to get you out, my brother Larry. I'm gonna get you out of that Facebook jail. I'm gonna pay the fine for you. I sure am. I sure am. Look here. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? You know. Now I know most of the time I talk to myself, but
You was talking to Larry. I will just let you and Larry have it for a little while. Just like this morning, I was talking to you. No, that was at lunch. When you was at lunch, we were talking. And I was telling you something, and I heard you just talking. And I'm like, well, who is he talking to? He is not talking to me. So you talking to somebody else, but then when you got back to talking to me, I was like, who are you talking to? He said, I'm talking to you. I don't know when you talking.
I
Y'all,
can
I don't know when he talking to me.
I can
I just wait
maintain
till
them.
he finishes talking to himself, and I dip in. But
Well,
my
you know,
weekend was actually fabulous. It was fabulous. It was really, really good. And I like being able to say that. I like being able to say that for one, not for one thing, for lots of things. It's just always good to have a great weekend. But
yeah.
sometimes when you go on jobs and stuff like that, and it's not the best situation,
Hmm.
it makes you remember all the people that love you when you get off at 5 and you had these fabulous weekends. Matter of fact, they'll say, well, how was your weekend? You know what I tell them? Oh, don't ever worry about Miss Trina. Miss Trina always have a fabulous weekend, is what I always tell them. Always. Now I can't say the same thing about here, but at 5 o'clock,
Like, go
why
ahead.
I'm echoing.
Yeah, I ain't echoing. I got on the headset, so I couldn't hear myself no way.
Oh,
Hey, Miss Julie. Hey, Miss Julie. How are you? We sure hate we missed you Saturday out there at the place Saturday. Was that Saturday? Yes, it was Saturday. We hate we missed you out there. Wish you could have made it. It was a wonderful event. Let me step out and say thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the wonderful event that you had out at the park. It was fabulous. It was a joy for this old boy here, just to see people come together and enjoy and have fun and support. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. I truly enjoyed it. The executive producer enjoyed it. I know my co-host enjoyed it. Uh, would have.
she was not the executive producer Saturday.
Oh no, she.
She was the police, I forget what they called him, the junior police officer, something like that. She got
Yeah,
her badge.
she
So I
got her.
told I told country boy that she was not executive producer.
Yeah. She got a badge, and I want to send a shout out to the Houston Police Department. Man, they were super duper. They were all so nice out there. It really was. If y'all missed the event out there, man, y'all sure mark y'all calendars for next year because I'm gonna mark mine. But I'm gonna bring me an umbrella and a chair and some water because it was hot.
I don't know
It,
why I didn't think to tell you that.
it was hot. It was.
Sorry.
It was It was it was Texas hot.
It is Sylvester. The event he's talking about is Sylvester Turner's Family Day at the Park, and it's every year. This year was the 15th year. I've been doing it for years and years and years and years, and it's always a great event. Period. But for me, it's even super special because all my classmates from school come, and it's almost like a reunion. Now this year, I guess because of the rain, it had been raining, and they didn't know how it was going to
Right.
be out there. A lot of them didn't come this time. But normally, it is like a big reunion for me because I get to see all the people. But it's always good. J. Paul Jr. of course plays every year, and it's just an awesome time, and everything is free.
It was free. They
It's
had free they had free turkey legs,
turkey legs, hot dogs,
hot dogs,
popcorn,
not
soda, Mountain Dew, water, all those things. Several vendors.
yes.
A matter of fact, your people was there.
Mhm.
Uh,
They sure
I came
was.
up KCOH,
KCOH was there. They had a stage out there.
praise dance and
They did
line
a
dance. My
wonderful
my friends
yes.
Groove 44 did their little dance.
And they was good, boy. They was up there. Ooh, I see. Yeah, I got a video of them. I got to post that one. They did that thing. They did that thing.
So do you know
So,
where Groove 44 comes from?
I don't where it comes from.
You know what 44 mean?
Oh, that's the home of the acres.
Groove 44.
The home of
That's
the
it.
acres. Well, look, we was in the home of the acres, y'all.
We was
That's
in
where it was
we was
at.
in Acres Shakers.
We was in acres, shakers, yes.
My
But
people, the
it was
best people in the world to
the
be around.
fofo, the
And
fofo.
there was no, now I must say this is always funny to me. So well, it's funny, but it's really sad. Now it wasn't as many this year, but every year somebody comes to the microphone and say, "We have a lost child." 10 minutes later, we have a lost child. 30 minutes
Yeah.
later, we got a lost child. This year, you didn't hear it that much. But so I'm trying to figure out where y'all at. Well, did you drop your child off?
Yeah.
Where are y'all off with your
Yeah.
little children?
I know I
Little
wasn't
Ray and Pookie can't be just sitting out there by themselves.
I know I wasn't finna lose mine.
Now, do you just let them go and y'all go find your? I mean, I don't know how are y'all losing your children. My children used to be in my pocket. So
Yeah.
and even Country Boys, baby, the executive producers, he was looking, and I knew he was watching her, but I saw over there holding this conversation with some woman, and the woman looked very professional. She looked nice, but you never know. So I kind of scooted on over there so I could see what was really going on with that conversation, you know? Hey,
Yeah.
Miss Julie.
And that was it was uh that's for me just watching her, and I will get off that. Just watching her grow, and knowing that I have to give her a little space. So she went to the playground, but boy, I was right there. Eyeballs was I was look, I wasn't taking nan eyeball off of her. Everywhere she went, I was right there. Poop, poop, poop.
He was.
But it was a joy to see her, and I think I've said this, um, not just her, as far as children, to watch the innocence of our children, to watch them enjoy and go out and have fun. Um, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. If we older folks could understand the joy that these children and somehow get back to that and get back to just living that life. And I ain't talking about just forget about everything, but I'm just saying living that life of love. Um, my the executive producer, she was over there. I'm telling you, she was talking. She look here. If you weren't striking up a conversation, she gonna strike up one with you. She gonna invite you to play with her, talk to her, but that is why can't we as adults get there? What is so hard about us getting there? Before I allow you to handle this thing, I want to say that look, like I did. You have
You
your
do.
way.
I was going to say you do that every week. I'm trying to figure out now who show this is not. I didn't even come up with no topic today. I used to say, okay, you must do that because I didn't came up with a topic. I didn't even give you no topic this week.
He ain't even gave me no topic, so
nope.
I'm just.
So you
But,
had no excuse to throw it over to me this time.
now I will say this on a couple of different things. Personal note is I had done I reposted a post today that I posted. I think it was 3 years ago. And what was amazing about it was on yesterday because I had heard some conversations from some people, and I be listening. Why you ain't done no videos? Why you ain't done no videos? Not just. I've heard it from a few people. So there was actually a song that I did yesterday, but in that I wrote something, and I don't know if people catch what I write. Maybe they just be watching me dance. But it was about accepting responsibility, and it was about being accountable for our actions and the things that we do. It's about growth. You know, everybody talks about being grown and growing and maturing. But for me personally, the first step of growth and maturity is holding ourselves accountable for our actions and our choices. The next step for me of growth is then doing something about our behavior and going about changing our behavior. That's growth and maturity for me. Um, you know, it was amazing, and I thank God. Then today, as Facebook, I always do, boy, they chunk something at you. Boom, this is what you put up there. And there was a post that I did 3 years ago that was about the same thing. A few years ago, I had made openly, as I do sometimes, because this has been my blessed platform, um, my confessions, not Usher, but my confessions of some things that I had done and mistakes that I had made, and holding and learning that it wasn't about anymore blaming somebody else or pointing fingers at it was because of these people and that people or that person or this and that. It was about holding myself accountable. That was one of the I ain't gonna lie to you, and that was one of the toughest things for me was to look in the mirror and to say, "Hey, boy, what about you? When are you gonna be accountable? When are you gonna hold yourself accountable for the choices you made?" See, and here's what I figured out and what God hit me with. A lot of my choices had effect on other people. When I thought I was just doing what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it and these things, I was affecting more than myself. I was affecting my family. I was affecting my relationships. I was affecting my children by the choices I made. And that's a real hard thing for me. It was a hard thing. Now, um, when I talk about accountability and I talk about responsibility, I can talk about it because now I have gone through it and I know what it is. So I'm not just blowing smoke. It is about somewhere I've traveled. I'm not saying that my story is anybody else's story, but I do know the fact that we all make choices and that we all should be accountable for ourselves in every situation. You know, what I learned is that sometimes we try to see what the consequences are going to be. It don't work out like that. You can't see how it's going to end unless you get in it. And you always have to take other people's feelings into consideration for the things that we do. You know, when did we come so big and bold that we can't apologize when we do wrong? When do we get to the point to where we can't say and admit our failures? You know, something about that just don't seem right. Something about that just don't seem right. Um, so when I talk about it, just know it's a road that I've traveled. It's a journey that I have been on. And I'm not telling anybody this is what you have to do. You don't have to hold yourself accountable. That's your choice. Again, that's your choice. But what I know for me is that I cannot walk this and not be truthful. I cannot walk this and say, "Hey, I ain't never hurt nobody. I ain't never lied to nobody. I ain't never." I can't walk this and be honest and truthful and pretend that I have never done wrong, and it was always somebody else. So that was my preaching moment. Old country boy finna sip on him some water. Hi. What? Oh, oh.
I don't have anything to follow after that. Was that was a table talk moment. I can't follow that up because anything I say would be inappropriate because it would be funny. So I'm always making jokes. So I will take a pause.
Take a pause for
We'll
the
show a
call.
commercial. It'll take a commercial break. But yeah, I'm a true believer in being very transparent. A lot of people think I'm too transparent, and I am because I don't have that issue because I'm not. I mean, there's some things I'm sure I'm ashamed of, but most things I be like, and I don't even, for the most part, I don't even do the little hint stuff. If I'm gonna tell you what happened, I just tell it.
Yeah.
I just tell it. Some people put a little bit of it, then people be wondering, I wondered that this happened. Well, I wonder what. I just give the whole story. So there's no questions to be asked. I also think being transparent helps people. You don't know who you're helping.
Right.
Some people see it as telling your business, and I guess there are some things that you should keep sacred. I get that, but there are some things that you go through so that people, other people watching can learn and be like, oh, I have a project that I'm working on behind the scenes that I'm going to be very open and honest, and that's what I want because I want people to be able to relate. I want them to be able to it'll be therapy for me to a certain extent, but I want to be straight up with people. Just this is how I'm feeling, and so I think people learn from it. People, what do you call it? People heal sometimes from being truthful and honest. But let me tell you something I heard today. It's a podcast I listened to called Slay Girl Slay, and the young lady's name is Ashley. But really good podcast, really motivational. But today she has a number now to where you can call this number and ask questions. Because usually at podcasts, people just talk and you don't get to ask anything. So she started this new thing. So people call in and they leave questions. So someone left a question just saying that, they're the first person in their families to step out and start doing a business, start doing different things or whatever. And she said she doesn't have confidence because, there's negativity from her family, from people, because of course they don't get it. Just like we do our talk show, people are probably like, what they on here? What they talking about? Why they on here every week? Not realize it is really hard to get on here every week. Some days you'd be like, I don't feel like doing that. But anyway, as Ashley was giving the advice back to some of her questions about how do you keep the confidence going? How can I get my confidence? How can I move forward? She gave her great advice, but she also started talking about because the young lady was talking about her family won't let her forget who she used to be, or she keeps going back to this old person. So Ashley said she's been in therapy for 3 years, and she said that was something she kept going. She moved. She lived somewhere, but she had moved to California. She always wanted to live in LA. So she moved to LA. She got a job, then the job laid her off. So she didn't have money, and she tried to stay, but she couldn't. So she had to go back home to her parents. And of course, it makes you feel like, oh my God, I was a failure, blah blah blah. But then she said she just kept talking about, oh, when I was in LA, I did this. Oh, when I was in LA, I did that. Ooh. And so, in talking to her therapist said you're gonna have to grieve that life, because in order to let go of that life, you have to kind of bury it. And she said, in order to do that, you need to write yourself a letter. Write yourself a letter to that girl that was living there to say, this is what's going on. And, I love you, but but I'm going to have to let you go to get the grieving part of it over, because you are grieving of that life that you had. Which one, it was good to hear that. But also I thought about it for me when I talk about, I tend to, even though I said I'm cutting the umbilical cord from the dance community, when she said that, I thought to myself, and just listen to her saying who she was when she was in LA. She had made this name for herself. Same. So I thought that's a good idea. I think even if a real person like dies, maybe you need to write them, but writing a letter to yourself that you were prior, to be able to say, now I've said goodbye to this relationship, this person, so I can move on. But you have to do that and bear. You ever heard of people that have the burning, to where you write down certain things and you throw it in the fire? Like that. You know what I mean? But I thought that was something I was going to mention on the show tonight, because I thought that was so interesting. And it's something that I think I'm going, and her therapist gave her this thought. And I think I'm going to do that,
It is powerful. I will tell you, for me personally, in open and transparency, after I went through my separation in the beginning, girl, let me tell you, I got books and books and books. I wrote up some notebooks, wrote up, and it's so funny for me. I can't even, I don't even know where they're at now. But at one point I had went back and I was looking when I started the writing process, the pain. How can I say it was pain? Because it was big, and it was big letters, and it was emotions, and I was getting it all out. And as time went on, because that's what we have to do. What you're saying is so correct. My process came with getting it out, writing it down. I have written letters to my exes. I have written letters to people that have hurt me or that I have hurt. I can't say that I have delivered them.
Right.
I put it down. I put it down. And you're so right. And that therapist is right on. Sometimes what you can you can write it and burn it, or you can write it and bury it. But what you have to do is get it out. People don't realize. People think that this thing ain't real when you internalize something. Let me tell you something. When you keep that stuff, that hurt, that pain, that disappointment, that poison inside, and you don't release it, it causes a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it causes strokes. It causes heart attacks.
Yes.
All of the above. A guy that used to be our security guard at the Red Rooster, I was looking up, it was Wednesday, looked on Facebook, and this man done died of a stroke. And he about my age. Not getting out. And what was most significant to that, because I get that about writing letters to different people, like I mentioned, but out of all of those letters that we're talking about, the one to say to your old self.
Yes.
That it really got me. And taking it back to what you were saying about being open, honest, and transparent, because people can learn from that. What she said, helping someone else out loud, right? It helped me say, oh my gosh, that's what's wrong. That's why I keep saying, oh, when I was in the dance community, I did that. When I was in the dance community, I did that, because I was proud of all the things I did. But that part is over. And if I don't let it go, if I don't bury it, I can't move on to what God has for me. He got something for me, right? He got it right there. But I've got to let that go. My vision board, let go, move forward. I've got to let it go for me to be able to open my arms and have. Somebody told me one time that if a car is parked in front of your garage, the other car can't come in.
Right.
And that was a whole other this situation, but I'm just saying. Transparency. But it means the same thing, you can't, your hands are not open for your new blessing or your new life or all these new things that you have in your head that you want to do. And I'm always saying, why can't I get this off the ground? I got all these ideas. I got all this stuff. Some of it, I even told you about a venue that ain't but $300 and some.
Right.
What is the hold up? And the hold up is that I've got to let go of this other stuff. I got to figure out I can say it all day. You can say it all day, but until you really do it and you grieve and you bury it,
Right.
you cannot literally move on. And that's in a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's in death. You know, of course, death, you're never going to get over. Well, you're not ever get over your marriage, but those kinds of things. You just have to have the grieving process and allow yourself to grieve and then to
Mm.
heal.
Because I'm remembering a video where a man was talking about the most our memories, how important that thing is, and how we should value the memories. Because sometimes, just like you're saying, in a situation, we start including people in, and we have to remember that every day, people, we are making memories. Understand this. Every day we're making memories. And sometimes we put some trash in our memories, in
Mm-hmm.
our memory bank. And we have to understand, we gotta, that trash is in our memory bank is that thing that'll hold us back from getting somewhere, because we'll get to a certain point and then that trash becomes the blockage in our vessel where the blood won't flow through. We have to be very, very diligent on how and whom we allow into our memory space.
Yep.
Because remember something, we talked about, when you said about death, what is it about the person that passed? It's the memories we have of them.
I think I saw that video. I don't know if he shared that video with me, and he talked
Yeah.
about that's what we're missing. It is the, and that is true. It is the memories, because even if you were in something that may have been somewhat toxic, sometimes it's hard to let go because there were some great memories,
Memories.
and
That's
that's the
it.
part that you're not ready to go, because you're still thinking, but it could go back to that because it was this and it was this and it was this and we did this and we did this. Even you just can't accept that that is not it. I have a sister-in-law. Again, transparency, full transparency. Me and my sister-in-law was like, man, we was, I mean, tighter than tight. And I remember a time when things were weird, and it was like she was backing off from me, like I didn't hear from her. It was just weird. And I'm someone, when I do have a friend, which I really don't have any friends right now, but when I have, I mean, you my friend, you know what I mean when I say that, but I don't have a lot of friends anymore. And so she was one of my besties, like
Right.
my girl. And when she started backing up, it was just, I didn't want to accept it because I take that seriously.
Mhm.
And my sister said to me that she said, Trina, you know what? You have to realize that person is not the same person anymore. The person that you were friends with,
Mhm.
she's not there anymore. And that's what you have to see it as, that you was good, it was fun, but the girl that you knew as her, she's someone else now.
Right.
And it was an aha moment for me to say, she's right, because this person had changed. I just couldn't accept it. I
Right.
kept trying to hold on to
What was?
what it was, and like, okay, we got to get this back, and calling and do, and realizing she was trying to move on. And I think she was in denial that she was trying to move on too. But when my sister said that to me, it didn't hurt my feelings anymore.
Right.
It didn't. I instantly was able to say, you know what, she right. This is not the same person that was my buddy. It was my girl. That was my dog. She's not the same person. So I
Hmm.
don't. And that's when you make those decisions about, this is not someone I even need to be around anymore anyway, because she is not,
Right.
you know.
And a lot of times, most of the times, and I hope that this one rings clear. Sometimes we need to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves first, and
Facts.
then we need to reintroduce ourselves to other people, because just like you said, they have this memory of, and you just have to say, hold up, allow me to reintroduce myself.
Right.
I know who you're talking about. I get who you're talking about. But now, right here, today,
Mm-hmm.
where I am, because you're talking about, yeah, but let me reintroduce myself. Now, because where I am now, Because don't try to take me back there. Let me introduce you, because maybe we can click here. Maybe we on the same page or pattern or space at this point, but we will never be if you trying to still meet them, because them gone.
Or it could be just the opposite. You haven't changed because I hadn't
Right,
changed.
right.
We had did something different. Because I'm not trying to be funny and trying to be Miss Perfect, whatever, but you know, on that side, I was the good one. So I mean, like, I don't like to get in trouble, to be honest with you. That's why my situation at work is so weird. I don't like to get in whatever I can do not to get in trouble. When my best friend was around here stealing her mama car at night, I didn't go. I wasn't going. Don't come pick me up. Y'all tell me what y'all did tomorrow, because I ain't going. Because I always felt like if you stole the car, we were gonna have a wreck and things were gonna happen. The one time I decided I was gonna skip school and go with the cool kids and go run around and skip school and go to the mall and do all this stuff. I get back to the school and everybody knew Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill was from Acres Homes too. Mr. Hill walked right up to me, and he used to have this little cool walk. When he walked in, he was real big, and he would just walk like this. He walked up. He say, "Miss Williamson," my maiden name, "Miss Williamson, we already called your daddy." I hit the floor. I just hit the floor. I fell like it was over. I'm just dead. Ain't no need of y'all trying to pick me up. And I am not exactly. I hit the floor. So yeah, I don't like to get in trouble. I'm that girl. So my point is, so yeah, I definitely get that. And on the note of you saying you've changed, so when we decide to start doing boundaries, which I have done now, as a matter of fact, I had a good conversation with my mama today about that. You know, we really, and me and you have talked about this on the show before, giving people these passes all the time. How many times do I give you? I can love you, but I can't keep giving you a pass at 95 years old and you still doing the same thing over and over. I was gonna say screwing people. I'm gonna change that up for this show. Messing over people, doing the wrong thing, you know, borrowing money, don't pay it back. Just all kinds of shenanigans that I decided to say, I'm done. Relative or no relative.
Right.
I'm gonna love you. I love you to death. Don't want nothing to happen to you. But I'm gonna my boundary is set to where I'm not dealing with that foolishness anymore.
And that's the thing is, a lot of people, in my opinion, and I don't know a lot of people, but I know a few people, are afraid to set boundaries because
with their family, especially
with family, with people close to them, they're afraid to set those boundaries because they think that they're going to lose or offend. We have to really understand how that. See, that's when you know how valuable you are. That's what, it's not saying you're not discrediting anybody else, but understanding my value and my self-worth. These boundaries are saying, hey, you know what? We put fences when we don't want nobody to walk on our yard. People used to build fences around there. Wait a minute, hold on. Or when they got certain folks to be like, when you come in my house, you got to take your shoes off.
And hey, Bernice, thanks for watching.
I think I said this the other day was about this. We can protect everything else but us.
But I also want to make this point though. Yeah, it's hard for us to make boundaries with friends and stuff like that. That is really hard. But I think for especially African Americans, because I don't know about nobody else, I just know about us. It is hard because we've been brought up that because you're family, you have to deal with what you deal with what they give you. So I think it's extra hard for people to, I will speak for myself, for sure. For me, it's been hard for me to set boundaries and let go of people in your family. Because I mean, think about it. People will tell you that in your family, but that's your cousin. You can't, or that's your auntie. You can't, that's your blood. You can't. So I get the friendships, but family, that is the hard, that's a tough one to be able to let go, because your family, your mama, your dad, the older ones are saying that no, you can't basically you can't set no boundary with them because that's your family. I don't care if they slap you 55 times, you got to still be with them. And that's just a lie. Period. Point blank.
You know how I feel about family. I love my family. And
Love mine too.
I love my family. Now let me clarify this for the world to hear. Family has nothing to do with relatives. Let's make it clear. Family don't have nothing to do with your DNA. Ain't got nothing to do with it. Because you can have people that have the same DNA, that will treat you worse than people
Hmm.
that don't have the same DNA. So let me tell you, family has nothing to do with DNA. Family is about respect. Family will respect your boundaries. Family, that's what family will do. Family will respect you. Family will love you unconditionally. Why do you think? Why do you think when people go and they join gangs, they call them what? Family. They say, what? That's my family. Because it has nothing. Family has absolute. Too many people have put that like family is about your blood. Family is not about your blood. Them your relatives. Yes, they are your relatives. Yes, thank the Lord for the relatives, but that don't mean that they have to be your family. And those are not people. Just because you are blood related does not mean they got to be all up in your beeswax. You got to know nothing. You got to run. No, because sometimes, sometimes, a lot of times, it is not your relatives who will support you, but your family will. I done said what I said. Now they gonna be mad at me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mad at you. No, I'm not gonna be mad at you, but what I am gonna say is this: is I have you've heard me say this before. So I'm really weird. You about to have a drink on that? I ran out of water, Bernice. I can't have a drink on it. Well, I'm so weird when it comes to that. So, at the end, I've talked to you about this. Like, I got one daddy,
hmm
and I'm funny about that. I got one sister.
hmm
I'm funny about that. So I can't call nobody else my sister. Now I know in church we say sister so and so. We got one. I got one daddy and one mama. And so I'm really funny. My stepdad loved him to death, but he my bonus dad, right? And I'm really big on them titles. So I can have friends, which I don't have that many of them. I'm looking for some new ones, y'all. I'm taking applications. Because I'm trying to travel. I can't travel because I have no friends. And so I'm taking applications for friendships. You hear me, country boy?
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Anyway, so I know it's weird. It probably sounds, I guess it sounds selfish, weird, but I'm like that. Like I don't want to call somebody else my sister because I got one.
No, I get. No,
And
I'm not.
you ain't my mama. I don't have no but one. I got one mama and one dad. And so I'm very and people my sister had to even tell me about my women. She my stepsister. I have a half sister. But I used to tell people she's my step. No, that's my stepsister. She said, "Well, it's really your half sister because your daddy adopted her, like really adopted her." And I was like, "Oh, she's still not my sister though." She's like, okay. I just had to make sure I made that clear that
I
I don't
get.
do the sis and like I hear people and I know that it doesn't mean anything when people say that means that's your friend, your girlfriend, whatever. I get that. I've just always been weird because I want to claim my sister and I want to claim my mama and I want to claim my daddy. I know that makes no sense to anybody else but me, but I'm really weird about that. But
No,
I
and
do.
that is your understand this, and I always tell you,
Mhm.
you ain't got to explain people how you feel. That's them your feelings.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain. This is how I ain't finna explain nobody. I ain't finna explain nothing. You know what? Take it or don't take it. I mean, drink some water behind it or not. I don't care.
But you know what's so funny about you?
What
So you'll say that right there. You mean it too. You
I
mean when you tell
do.
people, if you don't want to hear what I gotta say, you can keep on going. You say that. If and people love you for that, right? People love your personality. That if I was to tell somebody that they'll be on that tick on this thing, clickety click, 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 clickety click, click, clack.
And you know what? And that's okay. They could do that to me too. But I'm gonna ignore it if it don't. If look, if it don't fit, don't force it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And if you don't like it, that's okay. That, did they miss my worthless 2 cents where your approval is not needed?
Not needed. You gotta start saying that some more though. Because
Don't
now
know
we
what
understand my words are 2 cents. We gotta start saying where your approval is not
it's
needed.
not needed. I mean,
I like that.
and it's really not. And everybody should feel that way. See,
Yeah,
what we run around here doing is trying to get people approval. I ain't trying to get nobody
true,
approval. You
true.
know what? It is what it is. If
It is what
again,
it
that's about taking accountability and responsibility.
is.
If I offended, you say I offended. You know what? I apologize. But you ain't finna come on here and tell me how I should think,
Yeah,
how I should feel.
right.
No, you not. You make feel that way. And that's okay because you are entitled to your feelings.
Definitely.
I do get aggravated at people that try to tell people how they should feel. Well, you shouldn't feel like that. And I can get aggravated. Why can I get aggravated? Because I used to be one of them telling people, well, you shouldn't feel that way. Until it
Really?
got hit. Yeah, I used to tell you, you shouldn't feel, you should. And trying to explain my way out of something. Again, but growth and maturity was about stop
Yeah.
trying to explain my way out of it and
Mm-hmm.
listen, take into consideration where the other person is coming from. Quit
Mm-hmm.
always stop trying to be defensive and ooh, let me die. Just sit down and listen. Okay? Sit down, listen, and be done with it. And okay, you know what? Because when we close our mouth, and I know sometimes they be like, boy, you don't never close yours. Don't, because I don't need your approval. but, but when we do and we listen, here's what I learned, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
and many people that I have spoken with, and had conversations. And today, I had a conversation today, and I'll go into a little bit of it. And I had a conversation the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I am that one, and the people that do that ring the phone and text know this. If you're calling me asking me, I'm gonna be honest with you. Whether you are my friend, if you calling me, I'm not finna just cause you my friend, just cause we hung out or have hung out. Don't think I'm gonna be like, oh no, you know what, you sure right. When you wrong, I'm gonna be like, you know you wrong. You know you was wrong. You know you was wrong. And too many people don't want to do that because
They don't want to
I
do that.
don't want to. Let me just no.
Yeah.
What God has given me is one of the trials that I have gone through in order to have a testimony about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a conversation with people who have been going through situations in their homes and their relationships. Lord, I'm a 4-time winner. I'm a 4-time winner. But God has placed me where people can come and ask me because guess what? Being a 4-time winner means I'm gonna be transparent about it. Because being a 4-time winner, let me tell you something about them folks. The only thing in common between them four was this walk. The only thing that them four had in common was me. So I had to look at the common denominator. I couldn't be like, well, ooh, Lord. No, ooh, Lord. You know, so to be able to be honest and to be able to hear what some people may be going through in their situation and be like, "Ooh, let me show you these flags." Because let me tell you, you're running that light right now. You're running that light right now. You running that light because you sounded like I used to sound. Let me tell you how I used to sound because in situations where people were trying to say something to me and express to me how they were feeling, here I go trying to defend myself. Why? Because they're telling me now I'm hurt because somebody told me how they feel. No, what I have to do is be able to listen and hear this thing or this way that I acted made them feel this way. How many people turn that around when you tell them how something that they did make you feel, and then they want to come at you? It's not what we do. That's not what you do when you care about somebody or you care about a situation and you want to make it better. You don't turn it around when somebody has opened their heart. You know how, for me, I'm learning how hard it is for people to truly open up and say, this hurt me. When somebody shares that, hey, when you did that, it hurt me. And then for a person to knock them down and be act like it was their fault that they, man, that's a hard thing to recover from. So the next time when they don't come say nothing to you, understand why they don't say nothing to you. Because you did not consider their feelings when they were sharing them with you. I'm gonna shut up again. Boy, I've been rolling that.
I'm just put it all in. um, I do believe that if that it's hard for people to apologize, hard for people to tell you that you've hurt them. I think that word, a lot of people don't like you to use the word narcissist. They think it's overused, but it's a word, and it's a word, it's a real word, it's a real thing, it's a mental issue. And a lot of people have it. I know we usually talk about the men that have it, but I believe my principal is a narcissist. But that's a whole nother issue. But what I was going to say was the person that does that, though, when you come to them and say, hey, you hurt my feelings, or you said this, and when they flip that script to tell them, but well, you did that and that made me do it, there's that word. Because I mean, and it's okay to have a conversation, a back and forth conversation to say, but for someone not to even accept, as you said, responsibility or accountability for what they did. Because matter of fact, the relative that I talk about to you that, said a really bad thing about me, that's very hurtful, very evil. When someone called to ask her about it, did you say that? She said, yeah. Well, I tell her why I said it if she called me.
Yeah.
I'm good, girl. I'm good over here. We
And
good
it's
over
and
here.
it's and it's and I what I hear is that people, it's not about, we can say what we want and that's our freedom.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
caring is when you say something or do something that hurts somebody and they come to you and they say, hey, this. That's that thing is about growth and maturity. Is when somebody comes to you and say that you hurt them, man.
Or even letting you know that you've hurt someone else.
Right.
You
You,
have to,
you,
if you are a decent, mature human being, you should have something in your heart. Because I say things, now I ain't gonna lie, I tell you all the time, I might apologize to you for how I said something. But 9 times out of 10, I meant what I said, but I may not have meant to say
right.
that. So I will apologize for that. I'm not gonna lie and tell you that you was not what I said I meant, but I will apologize for that. But you have to hear people out, and you have to not only hear people out, you have to tell people, if someone tells you that you hurt someone,
Mm,
if you have any kind of heart string, anything in your body, how could you not go to that person and say, oh, I did say that, and it is a horrible word, and that's I probably shouldn't have said that, but this is
right.
what happened, this is why I'm feeling this way. You hurt me. I don't need to call you for you to tell me why you
Right.
feel, I don't need to call you for that, especially if you've told everybody else. Country boy, if you go and tell Bernice, Lori, and Julie something about me, and they come back and tell me, I don't need to ask you anything because you should have told me,
Right.
right? Am I right?
That's it. That's
You
that's
already
how
told
it.
me what you wanted to tell.
That is how, and biblically speaking, the Bible says that if you have a problem with your brother,
That part.
you go to your brother. You go to them and say, hey, let me pull you over here and tell you this is what's bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I had an incident when I had a real I was hurt um because I was in feelings
Mm-hmm.
and I was hurt and I felt like there was when I was going through my separation in the beginning, I felt like man there was some people that should have been there,
Mm-hmm.
that should have been calling, that should have been there, that I felt that they should have been. You should have been checking on me. Why you
Mm-hmm.
wasn't checking on me?
Mm-hmm.
And it let me tell you, it festered. It festered up in me. And I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I had to I really had to pray on it. And I'm not saying that's what some of y'all might not even pray, some of y'all might just want to drink on it. I don't know what you do. I'm just telling you what I did, okay? Is I really prayed on it because it was really close to this person. Was is a mentor, a friend. And it hurt because I was in my feelings. Now I'm gonna flip something on biblical real quick. A lot of times we get in our feelings. When we're in our feelings, we don't think clearly. It's the truth. We don't think clearly because our feelings and our emotions are taking over. I said this today, and this may not resonate with some people. If God were in his feelings when his son hung on the cross, he would have got him off if he was in his feelings. But he wasn't in his feelings. What he knew was there was a bigger purpose and there was a reason. He was thinking, he wasn't feeling. Sometimes when we get in our feelings, we react in our feelings. We say things in our feelings, not understanding the ramifications of the things that we've said. Let me tell you something. That's what I learned. Is saying something out of my feelings, even though I may go back and apologize, that damage, let me tell
Is
you
oh
something.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Throw a
done.
ball through a window if you want to.
Yeah.
Throw a ball through a window because you're
Mm-hmm.
mad. That glass still gonna be broken.
Yeah. That is truth.
So for me, I had to. I didn't go over here and talk about this and that. I went to the person. I came in one day, got off work, got on my knees, I prayed, and I wouldn't, because feelings had me like, I ain't finna call them, I ain't finna say nothing to them, forget them, you know what? But it was much more. So I got out of my feelings and I called and I said, hey, I just want to talk to you. I need to tell you something. I need to express to you how I'm feeling, of what I felt like, of what this did to me. And I told them how what it made me feel like. They listened. That's the thing we miss. Not only did they listen, they heard what I was saying as well. Sometimes we want to listen, but we don't hear what people are saying. We're listening to respond instead of hearing them out and letting them get it out because, oh, well, no, I didn't do that. Oh, no, 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 it wasn't. You missed it. He heard me. He listened to me. I was able to forgive. We were able to come back together. And at that point, I was able to do what I told you to do. I was able to reintroduce myself from where I am, not where I was.
Mm.
Because where I was hurt. But where I am, I can reintroduce you to this fella starting here. So I say if you have a problem, whatever it may be, go to them. You ain't got to go to 100 people because 100 people can't fix the issue between you and one. All they can do is instigate. and give you bad advice most of the time because they're gonna tell you something that they would do when they wouldn't even do it.
And if you go tell everybody in the whole wide world, I don't feel we need to have a conversation anymore.
Right.
It's just me. I feel like you told who you needed to tell. I could be wrong. I'm still working on me. I'm still growing. But for me, if you felt like you had to tell these 10 people and you said it over and over and over, and then someone called you on it and you said, oh, yeah, I meant it. I said it over and over, but you ain't never told me, I'm good.
Right.
I know where we are. You are what is he? She a relative or she family? Whichever one that's the blood. That's what you are, and we're good. I mean, right. I'm not mad, but I know where you are. I know where we are. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe one day, yeah, I'm gonna move on past that subject because I don't. It's one that I think about and wonder, because I always question myself: have I forgiven? Because you got to forgive. I still be like, I don't know if I forgave or not. I mean, I'm sounding funny, but I'm literally serious. I want to be able to forgive, but sometimes I always feel that when people do things over and over and over again, like I mentioned earlier, there's something to that.
You know about the forgiveness. you know about forgiveness, right? Two things about forgiveness. You know what they are, don't you? One, you don't know if you have until you face it.
Until you what?
Until you face it. Until you face it. You don't know if you have until you face it. That's one. Mm-hmm. Two, it's just because you forgive. You know about me and the plate, right? Forgiveness means I want to see you eat. I always.
Oh, yeah.
Forgiveness means, look here, I'm going to feed you, but you can no longer sit at the table and eat with me.
Right. But you don't know. You don't, like what you said, until you meet it. But I don't really want to see the person. I really don't. Right. Like, I mean, I'm going to see him at probably a family function. Hey, and I don't, it just depends on how I feel if I say hey or not. So I probably haven't forgiven. But my thing is, like we talked about the man that went up to heaven, the girl that went up to heaven, and then God said, well, you never forgave so-and-so. She said, yeah, but I did all this community service. I did this, I did this, I did. Yeah, but you didn't forgive that one person. See, I don't want to be her. So I'm still trying to figure out, seriously, like, now, am I just not want to be around this person, or have I really forgiven this person? You understand what I'm saying?
It's a process. And see, the deeper the pain, the harder the climb.
Yeah.
The deeper the pain, the deeper the hurt, the harder the climb. Folks sit up here talk about, you just got, the deeper it is, the deeper that wound. Let me tell you something. It's like anything else. Okay, all my medical students, if you get the deeper that wound, the harder it is and the longer it takes to heal. Mm-hmm. Be like, I don't believe that. Okay, let me jab a knife up in you and go halfway through your arm. The deeper it is, the longer it doesn't mean it's not healing. Yeah. Doesn't mean like, see, you could be, and I don't know, I'm not that good, but you could be going, it's still the healing process. You're not as hurt as you were, but you ain't fully healed. See, some people think that all of us, well, I don't know where y'all.
People think it's as easy as, especially again, that goes at those family thing, where your family feel like, because you family, you just need to go ahead and let that go. I do. Would you? And some of the people that I'm thinking about that say this, I know they wouldn't, because I didn't seen them in action with other folks. But me, and it's because of my personality, I think, too, because I am someone who's always been, my parents pushed me to be the bigger person all the time. You know what I mean? All right. Good night, Bernice. Thank you. Oh, it's 9:00. Thank you for giving us the bell. We need that. But now, and actually, I was going to tell you a few minutes ago, Country Boy, we run up on our time. Thank you, Bernice. Have a good night, sweetheart. We just got to be careful about telling people, just let it go.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wrap up by saying that we got to be careful about that. It is okay to hear people out. and their feelings and their thoughts, because that is a part of the healing process, to be honest with you, is to
Wait, say
hear
that word
someone
again.
out.
Say that word again. A part of the what?
The healing process.
That last word. Say it again.
Process. It's a process.
Come on.
Yeah. And right. And in order to, the other family members may be a part of that process, because not that I need y'all or the person needs y'all, but they kind of do need someone to just say, you know what, I know that hurts you. I understand. I really get, versus saying, um, oh, you just need to let that go. Just let it go. That's been a year ago. Let that go. That is not a way to make someone's feelings to validate someone's feelings. You know, that's saying basically, oh, my feelings don't mean nothing. That person, y'all still hanging out with this person, y'all loving on this girl and this person and all that stuff. But so since y'all okay with it, I should be like, okay. But she didn't say that about y'all.
Right.
Or she didn't hurt you guys. And maybe I wonder, and this is with anything, this is a general statement. Maybe I just think people don't put themselves in other people's shoes.
Right.
I tend to do that. I tend to say, because even when someone does something, in my mind, the first thing I think of, I wonder what happened to them. I wonder did they go? I always think I always go to that, because what is it? Hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Hurt people. And I don't know, but I'm going to end with that we need to be open and stop. I don't know what the opposite. We have to allow people to feel that their feelings are validated. How they feel is valid. Allow them to do that.
Even you don't have to agree with somebody's feelings but understand, again, I say that all the time, that I had to learn that the whole way, is that a person feels how they feel. A person feels
Bye, Miss Julie.
They feel. And that's what we have to do, is understand and respect that.
Yeah.
Because guess what? There are certain things we feel certain ways about. And we feel how we feel.
Amen. Well, that's the end of my soapbox tonight. We talked about so many things, but for one, I'll talk about that later. But because everybody's ready to go to bed and I haven't eaten yet. But yeah, y'all just just be careful in making someone feel like their feelings are not valid, because that cut that you're talking about, when you make someone feel, oh girl, just let that go. What that is salt being poured in that wound. And y'all know what salt feels like in a wound, or what alcohol feels like when you pour it into a wound.
Yep.
That's what that feels like. It makes the pain even more, because it's like, wow, I don't even know. I don't have any more words to it, but
I will say this on top of that, and then I'm gonna shut my trap. Is what that also does is, like I said before, then that person doesn't come to you. Then they start internalizing these things, and then the pain becomes even more so. Is because now they're not getting it out. They won't come. They won't talk to you.
Bye, Lori. Thanks for watching tonight.
The pain will be there, and the pain will be so deep. And so, why do you think some of these people go do some of the things that they've done? It's because people were telling them to get over it, or don't worry about that, or this, that, and the other, or it ain't that big of a deal. Okay, understand something. To you, might not be that big of a deal, but to me, it was major. So just respect other people's thoughts, respect other people's opinions, just respect other people in general. Except for the country boy, you ain't gotta respect me, because guess what? I told you, hey, you keep on rolling.
Short disclaimer before Country Boy closes us out. I am so sorry about the cough for y'all. I'm going through some allergy stuff, and I feel so. My apologies for the continuous coughing. So, Um,
She gonna get better. She gonna get better. School almost up. She allergic to school. It's almost
that's
over.
what I'm allergic to that principal. I'm allergic to the principal and the people that allow the principals in the school district to be the people that they are, be mean and evil. But anyway, but you know what? Let me just say one more thing about growth. I pray for them every morning.
Amen.
I pray for them every morning. I don't pray nothing ugly. I just pray for them to open up and be better people and realize the great people that they have working for them and that they be nicer.
There you go.
That's all I can. It's all I got.
That's all you can do. Well, y'all know we gonna close this thing out. It's the 9 o'clock hour. First and foremost, we thank y'all so very much for tuning in. We thank you for listening, allowing us into your homes, into your ears, or wherever you may be, your eyeballs, whatever gate you let us in. We grateful to be there. We thank you so very much. And like I always say, if God has given you, He's giving you a vision. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I say it not just to be saying, but I say it because I believe it. If God has given you a vision, if He's planted something inside of you, you go for it. You go for it. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do this, or you ain't smart enough to do this, or you ain't tall enough to do this. If God has given you a vision, trust me, He has the provision already set for you. So you just follow it on and you just keep on plucking. Keep on plucking that chicken. Eventually all the feathers gonna be off of it. All the feathers. And lastly, you know how I like to end this thing. I've been ending this almost 2 years the same way. Boy, I just love this here. Look here. If you woke up this morning and popped your old eyes open and you looked around, ain't nobody, ain't heard a word, I ain't saying nothing. And then if you was rolling throughout the day when it was about 100 degrees here in Texas, I don't know what it was where you at, but it was about 100 here, and you was sweating and you was looking for somebody to say something, ain't nobody said nothing. Well, look at here. You done made it all the way to the 9 o'clock hour. You done made it. You done made it. And guess what? You know the old boy gonna tell you right now. Look, if you ain't heard it, you finna hear it right now. We love you. And we love you unconditionally. And there ain't nothing that you can do about it. We thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Y'all catch out. Y'all catch chat with Trina Wednesday. Y'all can catch the old country boy if you want to, because he gonna be throwing out there Wednesday too. Don't know what he gonna be talking about. But she got special guests.
No, I don't have no special guests. On that note, I just need to say that my guests that were on, they're gonna be on. It was a mother-daughter entrepreneur team. Entrepreneurs, mother-daughters. They had a tragic death in their family, so keep them in your prayers. But they will return eventually. But in the place of that, I'm gonna be talking about weight loss and weight gain. No, commenting on weight loss or weight gain. Do you or don't you? So we're gonna talk about that. And if you want to know what that's about,
tune in
at 7 o'clock.
Tune in, chat with Trina. Weight loss.
It's gonna be Trina's truth unapologetically.
Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all better catch that. I'm gonna find me a seat for that right there. It's like to be a hot topic. Woohoo!
And I'll be up in time for y'all to go on over to the table talk.
Come on over to the table because I might have a meal.
Bye, y'all. Good
Bye.
night.
Thank y'all so much. Oh my goodness.